So we want, in the second half of our class, to use English words that help our students with principles of acting in space and against a force. That's sports teaching. So let's start with a child. For example, 5 years old. So you think a child will understand a lot of language.
Yep.
Bend your knees, right? Jump. Turn. Yes or no?
Yes.
A little bit, right? It's a little bit language. Do you think they understand better if you show? Yeah. So with this age group, showing is better than talking. The children of good athletes are often also good athletes. Many people think it's DNA, it's genetic. I think children learn by watching, and if the parent is a good athlete, they watched a great example all the time. So if we think of our principles, and I'm throwing a basketball, and I want to show a 5-year-old how to throw a basketball. How should I show it? Should I show it like this? Or should I show it like this? Which one is better
Awesome.
for a 5-year-old?
Second.
Okay. Why? Why? CSIA says first one.
First one is correct form.
Use two hands and maybe ball is heavy.
Great. So we keep in mind, for a 5-year-old, does a 5-year-old have the strength to hold a ball in one hand, a basketball? Probably not. So showing them this way is showing them something they can't do. They need more strength. Showing them this way, they can do it. So this way is better for the 5-year-old. How do children grow? Children grow center out and head first. So a child, right, my 5-year-old has a big head relative to their body. And so they grow head first and center out. From here, out. So what this means is that children have a big head and very good core strength, but very weak arms and weak legs. So this is why children can be very good at wrestling, but are usually not good at boxing. Does that make sense? Yeah. So big head and center out. So when we look at our principles, using a big muscles and joints, we're throwing a ball, so we involve some speed, right? And we know that a 5-year-old is strong here. So we will teach them to throw the ball like this, so they can use their strength. So this age group generally has a rule, right? And the rule is whole body games. So that rule means that when you're teaching them, doing anything with the whole body works better than doing things with part of their body. So let's take another age group, maybe this time 11 years old. Things start to change. They have more strength here, more strength in their legs, more coordination. And they understand language better. So with this group, a good strategy for teaching them is using language while doing the activity. So at the same time. So everyone's going to stand up. This is a very popular game with, you know, musical chairs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 4 of us. Okay, you guys follow me. We're walking around the chairs. When the music stops, we have to sit down. So, you know, this is an example of games that work with this age group. Why? Because you're moving as they're listening. So instructions and motion are happening at the same time. So when you're teaching this group, you'll see you talk while moving a lot. With adults, often stopping and talking, then going. But with children, quite often, going and talking, going and talking. You know, over your shoulder. So this happens for skiing and snowboarding lessons all the time. Talking over your shoulder to the child behind you. Saying, hey, Shohei, you're next. Come in behind me. Here we go, here we go. Yep, just like that. Whereas with adults, we sometimes give them the instructions first and then go. Is your age group. So they have schooling, they have a career, they're on holiday with their wife or their husband. Maybe they have children who are also taking ski lessons. So what do you think? A lot of show, no talk? Or is there more talk?
More talk.
Yeah, there's a little bit more talk, right? So your show and tell is pretty equal. And here's something you see a lot with adults. Remember with the children, we said talking and moving the same time. Quite often, right, with adults, not always, but quite often, talking and moving are separate. So you talk first, you move second. So one of the reasons for this is because many adults struggle to think about the goal and listen while they're moving. In skiing and snowboarding, one of the reasons they struggle is because there's many other skiers and snowboarders going by. So it's already very distracting. So we call this, single tasking. So give your students one thing at a time. Okay? So for example, if I take Shohei, I'll ask him to come over and I'll give him some instructions. Okay? So Shohei is going to look very, very relaxed. Okay? Confident student, right? His family have all skied before. He's having fun on holiday. Okay? And he shows up very relaxed. Right? And I can say something like, okay, Shohei, I notice your boots are undone. Let's do your boots up first. Then we'll sit down, right? And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the gondola. So I gave him 3 instructions. But if Shohei comes to me and, carrying skis like this, right? He looks nervous, he looks tight. Then I'm going to go to one instruction at a time. I can say, Shohei, let me take your skis, right? I'm going to put the skis down. Right? And I say, oh, your boots are not done up. Let's do your boots up as the first thing. Right? And then I'll show him how to do his boots up. Right? Great. Okay. I say, okay, now let's sit down. Woo! Isn't that better? Ski boots, difficult, first time, I understand. So when we ski today, we're going to ski on Whistler Mountain, and we have to take that gondola to Whistler Mountain. So I just want you to look at the gondola, right? Get used to the environment a little bit while your feet have a rest. So you can see what I did there, one at a time. Take the skis away, stop. Do the boots up, stop. Sit down on the chair, stop. Have a look at the gondola and the ski hill, stop. So this is an example of teaching in a single task method. One thing, stop. Next thing, stop. And if you have questions next week, and we'll take questions next week. For this afternoon, we're all done and it's time to get outside. Thanks, guys.